This morning, my close friend and I returned to the familiar fields. Beneath the layer of lingering dew, large, deep footprints were clearly imprinted, unmistakably from the wild boar herd. They had returned, and if we didn't act quickly, an entire season's crops could be destroyed overnight. We hastily gathered our gear, taking along support equipment and specialized weapons, not just to hunt, but to protect what the farmers had sown with their sweat and hard work. As the sun climbed higher, our visibility expanded, and we moved toward the edge of the field where the herd usually hid. The gunshot rang out, not to destroy, but to prevent impending devastation. To protect the peace of this land, this sky, and the lives that call it home. Continuing the hunt at this time, every thicket became a perfect hiding spot for these wild creatures. Look! A clean, decisive shot, leaving no chance for them to dash out of the bushes. Every judgment was spot on. If they had escaped, the cornfields and rice paddies around the village could have been destroyed overnight. Suddenly, a report came in from the south. The herd is moving toward the adjacent field. Situation turned urgent. Nick immediately took action, heading straight to the scene to intercept them in time. The Boars ran fast, but they couldn't outmatch Nick's speed and skill. The seasoned marksman, amid the chaotic scene, he remained calm like a machine, placing every shot exactly where it was needed to protect the crops from the looming threat. While Nick's team was engaged in fierce combat, I continued moving, eyes fixed on every sign. Suddenly, another target appeared right in my sights. The moment had come. The animal was quickly neutralized. Once again, the area was safe. In the wild, even a single second of hesitation could mean not just danger for us, but the entire village facing complete destruction. The sunlight gradually faded, but fate seemed already set. New targets still appeared, and this time there was no room for error. Each shot rang out, powerful, precise, and rapid, echoing like the beat of my own heart. As the gunfire subsided, only scattered wild boar carcasses remained across the field, a stark testament to the skill and courage of professional hunters. Every gleam in our eyes reflected the joy of knowing both ourselves and the harvest had been secured. This is not just a hunt, it is a battle between humans and nature, where courage and a sense of responsibility beat in rhythm with the fields. Protecting the crops means protecting lives. Every bowl of rice, every drop of sweat poured by the farmers. In the Lazio region, autumn isn't just about gathering the crops, it's the season of the hunt. Hunting wild boars here isn't just a passion, it's a heritage, passed down from father to son through generations, woven into the very fabric of this land. As a son of Lazio, my team and I prepared meticulously for this hunt, not only to protect the harvest and the livelihoods of the locals, but also to carry forward the pride of countless generations before us. Get ready for an intense journey ahead. As dawn broke, we formed our positions, surrounding the fields. From our observations, the freshly harvested and empty patches were prime spots where wild boars frequently appeared. We immediately took our stations, ready to confront the challenge. There it is! That silhouette could only be a wild boar. Adjusting my scope carefully, I squeezed the trigger. The bullet whistled through the air, striking the target dead on. Soon after, more targets emerged. Each shot was precise. Bathed in the early sunlight, our hunt kicked off with power and precision, showcasing our team's skill and seamless coordination. Continuing our scan across the fields, open clearings provided ideal conditions for long-range shots. When a target appeared, I took a deep breath, aimed steady, and fired. The bullet ended the prey's desperate flight. That moment marked a testament to skill, accuracy, and responsibility out here in the fields. As the sun climbed higher, I knew the boars would start retreating to the edges of the fields, where food was still available, but away from the harsh sun. Moving forward, I picked a perfect ambush spot and waited silently. Look, that shape is charging in. Everything set. The shot was like clockwork, clean, decisive, leaving no chance for the prey to react. We continued to scan the area, spotting lone, massive figures. Each shot hit its mark, reclaiming control over the wild landscape. From the southern part of the field came urgent news. A wild boar pack had just appeared. Nick immediately jumped into action, hopping on an off-road vehicle with teammates, speeding to the scene to stop the threat in time. Though the hogs ran fast, they couldn't outrun Nick's speed and precision, a skilled marksman known for shooting on the move. Within minutes, the threat was neutralized. Once again, our team emerged victorious in this fierce battle between field and wild instinct. While Nick's group was engaged in a fierce firefight, I kept moving, eyes glued to every sign. Suddenly, another target appeared right in my sights. The moment arrived. I pulled the trigger. The shot seemed to seal the deal, but not quite. The beast slipped beyond control. My heart clenched, a stark reminder that in the wild, nothing's guaranteed, and hesitation can mean defeat. The sun grew stronger, but fate seemed set. A wild boar pack appeared at the field's edge. This time, there was no room for error. Shots rang out, fierce, precise, rapid, like the pounding rhythm of my own heart. When the gunfire died down, Only scattered boar remains lay across the field. A bold punctuation to the morning's hunt, closing it with results nothing short of perfect. My mother's sweet potato field in Texas looks like a battlefield, the earth torn up, churned into a chaotic mess. Culprits? None other than wild hogs, mercilessly ravaging everything in sight. We knew we had to act. What would be the outcome of this life-or-death showdown? Join us and find out. Before we started, we spent all day yesterday scouting the area, marking water sources, automatic feeders, and the countless hog trails crisscrossing the land. Knowing the terrain was key to picking the perfect ambush spots. This morning, dressed in camo that blends perfectly with the environment and wearing quiet, specialized boots, we did a final check. Radios, rifles loaded, and the pickup truck ready in the rear. Our first spot was an old forest where multiple trails intersect. The wind was blowing against us, masking our scent. Suddenly, Chris gave the hand signal to freeze. Through my scope, my heart skipped a beat. A massive wild hog was rooting behind a huge tree. Man, this beast must have weighed over 400 pounds. The initial shock quickly sharpened into intense focus. I squeezed the trigger repeatedly. Bullets chased the hog as it tried to slip behind the tree for cover, but it was too late. Finally, the beast dropped. A spectacular trophy and a promising start to the day. Following fresh signs, we moved to another area. Ahead was an open clearing, the perfect stage for decisive shots. Wild hogs have incredibly sharp hearing and smell, so we kept a safe distance, never facing them head on unless we were sure of our shot. Minutes later, a sounder of hogs crossed the clearing. I decided to take the last one, slightly separated from the group. Locking my aim, I gently squeezed the trigger. The hog was hit, but survival instinct kicked in, and it bolted deep into the woods. As the day cooled, wild hogs became more active. We switched tactics, setting up an ambush near a preset automatic feeder. This method saves energy, cuts down noise, and gets us within ideal shooting range. Hidden inside a hunting blind, we waited patiently. Soon, a few hogs cautiously approached. I held my fire until one stepped into range. Then, the shot rang out. The hog dropped immediately. My teammate radioed that hogs were showing up at the eastern feeder. We moved quickly to the spot. There it was! I waited for it to get closer, just a bit more. Boom! The moment it paused, I fired, clean and precise. Shooting a stationary hog maximizes the chance of an instant takedown, saving ammo and keeping the area calm. Not long after, another hog approached the feeder. Holding my breath, I took the shot. The loud crack echoed and the beast collapsed onto the ground. Just as we were about to pack up, another sounder arrived at the feeder. We knew this was our last chance of the day. The moment one stepped into my sight, I made a quick, decisive shot. The hog dropped, and the rest scattered into the night. We headed back in the Jeep Wrangler, the truck bed loaded with trophies, especially that giant over 400-pound beast. The joy wasn't just in the successful hunt, but in knowing that tonight, the villagers' fields would finally be safe again. They'll be grateful for that. Millions of wild boars are rampaging across Spain, causing damage worth millions of euros each year. With their numbers now soaring past 2 million, these beasts aren't just a threat, they're an enemy that must be faced head-on. This time, Kevin and his team are heading deep into the dense forests of Madrid, where every step could mean danger. This isn't just a hunt, it's a true battle for survival. Out here, it's not simply hunter versus prey. It's a test of grit, instinct, and raw determination. Will they rise to the challenge, or will the wild boars continue to rule the woods? Stay tuned, the real hunt begins now. By 5 a.m., with the cold morning mist still clinging to every leaf and branch, Kevin's team pushed into the Madrid forest, fully prepped and ready. As they stepped into the designated zone, all eyes sharpened, scanning every shadow with tense focus. Just minutes in, Kevin's gaze swept across the trees ahead, then locked in. There it was, a lone wild boar wandering slowly through the brush. The moment had come. Without hesitation, Kevin steadied his aim. A single shot rang out, clean and precise. The beast dropped instantly, never saw it coming. A strong start to the day's hunt, and a warning shot from whoever else lurks deeper in the woods. Kevin's team pushed deeper into the forest. High-tech binoculars came out fast, locking onto any possible movement. It didn't take long. Within minutes, a shape moved stealthily beneath the thick canopy. Hidden well, but not well enough. The target was spotted. Every move was executed with expert precision, measured down to the last millimeter. Smooth, efficient, deadly. Though this boar wasn't the biggest, the clean takedown marked another proud notch on the team's record. Every shot counts when you're out here proving your worth. At the same time, Jay remained silent, locked in position at his ambush point. Suddenly, a wild boar emerged, foraging calmly beneath the foliage, completely unaware of the danger closing in. In a split second, the silence was broken. A single shot rang out. The bullet struck true, dropping the target instantly. No struggle, no second chance. It was a flawless shot. No warning. No room for retaliation, just one less threat in the forest. Barely had the team caught their breath when a signal came in from the fields below. Wild boars spotted. Without hesitation, the team mobilized fast, moving into position and forming a tight formation to block every possible escape route. As they reached the edge of the field, a full herd was already charging back toward their den. But there was no getting past Kevin. His sights were locked. A barrage of shots rang out, each one hitting its mark. One by one, the beasts fell. It was a clean sweep, a flawless assault. Swift, decisive, and final. No more destruction, no second chances. Deep in the open grasslands, a dark blur suddenly shot through the tall grass. Fast, almost too fast to follow, but not fast enough. Kevin didn't hesitate. One sharp movement, one clean shot, and it was over. Every step, every motion was flawless. No hesitation, no mistakes. Now, let us ask you this. Were you impressed by that shot? Do you think the boar might have had a chance? If it had been just a little faster? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear what you think. The sunlight was fading, and the team began making their way back to the rally point. But just as the hunt seemed to be over, Jay spotted movement, a wild boar hiding deep in the grasslands. No hesitation, he adjusted his aim, locked in through the scope. A single shot cracked through the evening air, and with it, the chase ended. One more threat eliminated. And for now at least, the field returned to its rightful silence. According to the latest report from Turkey's environmental agency, the wild boar population in the region has surged by nearly 40% compared to last year. This explosion not only wreaks havoc on the land, upturning soil and destroying vegetation, but also pushes dangerously close to residential areas. Facing a clear ecological imbalance, the authorities have urgently launched a controlled hunt. This time, we set out, not just to hunt, but to preserve the fragile balance between humans and nature. Join us as we embark on this intense and gripping journey. Armed with specialized weapons, cutting-edge gear, and a pack of fierce hunting dogs, we headed straight into the hotspot. Within minutes, the dogs picked up a scent, their sharp barks echoing through the woods. Thanks to their expert training, the target was locked down in a tight circle. A steady aim, a decisive shot, hitting the vital spot. The beast dropped instantly. But the hunt wasn't over. Moving forward, more massive shadows emerged. Shots rang out, fast, clean, effective. The mission was off to a promising start. After scouting the terrain, we realized this spot was a natural fortress, a perfect hideout for the wild boars. Suddenly, the dogs barked again. Everyone snapped into position. This time, the glory went to John, a cold, precise shot. Another target down, a sharp reminder that the battle was far from over. Unfazed, I pushed deeper, carefully sweeping through every bush along the familiar terrain. A pungent, sharp smell filled the air, a clear sign the predator was close, ready in an instant. Without warning, it charged out from the thicket. With experience and nerves of steel, I reacted in a flash. Crack of gunfire, sharp and clear. The giant beast fell, utterly spent. One reflex was all it took to prove who was in control of the hunt. Before I could catch my breath, the dog's urgent barking pulled me back to full alert. Regaining my focus quickly, I moved forward, ready for a new challenge. There it was. In the critical moment, I squeezed the trigger. A perfect shot, clean and precise. No matter how well it tried to hide, the prey couldn't escape the seamless teamwork between hunter and dogs. And just like that, we pressed onward, bagging several more targets. The afternoon sun dipped lower, filtering through the dense canopy and shrinking the boar's hiding advantage. Yet here, visibility opened wide, ideal for spotting fresh targets. Just as expected, shadows appeared. Without hesitation, I pulled the trigger. Nice! Another troublemaker taken down. Gunfire followed in quick succession. Target after target fell. By now, the wild boar numbers in the area were nearly under control. We ventured deeper into thick brush, the wild boar's refuge from the harsh sun. Minutes later, hidden shapes revealed themselves. Every precise shot took down a revealed target. After hours of tension, the battle finally drew to a close. A brutal day, but a crucial step toward restoring balance to this ecosystem. After years away, returning to my homeland was a mix of emotions. My heart sank when I saw the cassava fields. The very source of our livelihood had been devastated, as if a storm had swept through. Culprits? Wild boars. A resolve hardened in me. Order must be restored. The next morning, we, the hunters of the village, set off. Will peace ever return to this field? Join us to find out. After quickly discussing our strategy, the team took up their positions. We donned our specialized camouflage gear, laced up our boots, checked the radio signals one last time, and carefully loaded our rifles. Behind the truck, the trained hunting dogs were eager and ready to go. Everything was set for a long day of hunting. The early morning mist still clung to the trees. Our team had positioned ourselves along the hillside, forming an invisible trap, with a clear view of the open field below. Upon receiving the signal via the radio, we released the dogs into the forest below, while another team took their positions higher on the hill. The dogs would drive the boars toward us, waiting at the trap. The tension in the air was palpable. Through the radio, I heard my teammate report the direction the target was moving. Suddenly, a massive dark shape, the dominant male wild boar, charged from the edge of the forest. We waited patiently for it to come closer, then opened fire. The boar panicked and bolted up the hill, straight into my line of sight. Boom! It collapsed instantly. The first shot was a clear signal that order would be restored, no matter what. Not long after, the sounds of the dogs barking echoed from the hilltop. A few wild boars were being driven down a gentle slope in panic. This time, I was lying in wait halfway up the slope, hidden behind dense bushes near a familiar escape route boars instinctively used when attacked from above. When the lead boar entered my sights, I squeezed the trigger. The shot only made them more disoriented, causing them to instinctively turn back up the hill. "They're coming back! Get ready!" I shouted into the radio.
Geri döndüler baba, geri gel.
Soon, supporting fire from my teammates higher up intensified, and one by one, the wild boars fell, dropping under the precise barrage. We continued moving upward to a higher point to control the area. From the hilltop, I spotted another large dark figure moving cautiously below. This one was moving very carefully, a sign that it was an older, more experienced boar. I patiently followed its movements, calculating its trajectory. When it came into my line of sight, I fired. The shot was perfect. It dropped right there. Around me, my teammates' gunfire was relentless, cutting down each wild boar with pinpoint accuracy. By noon, the sun was getting harsh. Despite the fatigue, none of us lowered our guard. We continuously updated each other through the radio, warning of any small signs of movement. Suddenly, another wild boar appeared, standing still below us. Perhaps it had gotten separated from the group. Without hesitation, I took my shot. A clean hit. The boar was injured, but its survival instincts kicked in, and it ran for cover. I immediately notified James, who was stationed at the base of the hill, to handle the injured boar. Upon receiving the message, James took up his position and stood still, his sharp eyes scanning the designated area. And there it was, the injured boar limping along. He prepared to deliver the final blow. With calm precision, James raised his rifle and took a single definitive shot. The game was over. Our professionalism was evident in ensuring that no threat remained for the safety of the community. As the evening approached, the hunting dogs seemed to still have energy left. Their barking erupted once more, pushing yet another boar toward me. This time, it would be a quick, direct confrontation. The boar bolted, and I pursued it with perfect timing. A loud shot rang out, and I saw the target stagger, then drop, lifeless, like a puppet with its strings cut. This was the final test of my reflex, marking the perfect end to a rewarding day of hunting. They came again, like a black storm. The wild boars tore through my grandmother's cornfields last night. By sunrise, her crops were destroyed, flattened, ruined. Everything she'd worked for, gone in one night. Her anger and helplessness lit a fire in me. I knew I had to head back to the countryside and act fast. Would this hunt be the turning point? Let's find out. Local shepherds helped us pinpoint the highest concentration of wild boars in the area. Our plan? Classic push and pinch tactic. I teamed up with Blake and 2 others to ambush positions along the ridge. The rest of the crew circled below and above, driving the boars into our trap using hunting dogs. Camo gear, tactical boots, radios, dogs, and rifles. Everything was ready. We set out. 7 o'clock a.m. The cold cuts to the bone, but this position? Perfect. It took nearly 2 hours of tough climbing to get here, a vantage point that oversees the entire hillside. Wild boars, with their razor-sharp survival instincts, almost always bolt uphill when spooked. We were here to shut that door. Every sense was on high alert. I strained to catch the faintest rustle. Then came the barks. The dogs were on them. Through the scope, a shadow moved. A massive male, probably close to 200 kilograms, stealthily creeping up the slope, looking for cover. I slowly raised my rifle. As soon as it stepped into the sweet spot, boom! One clean shot. The beast crumpled and rolled down like a lifeless sack. The perfect opening shot to kick off today's hunt. The push was working. Voices crackled through the radio. A small group had been herded into the valley. One had broken off. It stood frozen, confused, desperate for a way out. In moments like this, there's no room for hesitation. I locked in. One shot, straight to the torso. The boar tumbled down the slope. Escape attempt terminated. Sensing danger, the rest of the herd made for the neighboring ridge, thick with thorny underbrush and hard terrain. We moved fast. The elite dogs were unleashed, darting into the dense bush like arrows. Soon, one boar was flushed out, right below us. I moved in, lined up the shot with care. Couldn't risk hitting the dogs. Click, boom, clean, precise. Another threat neutralized. But the barrel was still warm when another one charged. Panic in its eyes, charging blindly uphill toward us. I waited, then fired. The bullet struck true, but it wasn't enough to drop it. The beast stumbled, then veered wildly across the rocky slope, heading straight for where Blake lay hidden. I see it, Blake's voice snapped through the radio. Seconds later, another crack of a rifle. Direct hit. The creature went down hard. I exhaled. Having solid teammates like Blake makes the whole mission smoother, safer. After a short break, the hunt resumed. From our vantage point, we could still see a few boars resting on the opposite ridge. We spotted an opportunity and moved in silently. I aimed right behind the ear, the wild boar's most vulnerable spot. One gentle squeeze of the trigger, the beast dropped instantly, gone before it even knew what hit it. Shots echoed across the hills. Our team was firing from all sides. More and more targets fell. I found one, wounded, hiding under a bed of dry leaves, barely breathing. I moved in cautiously, one final shot to ensure the threat was over. A long, hard day of hunting, now complete. The wheels of our Jeep Gladiator kicked up dust as we drove back. From intense adrenaline to quiet relief, every second of today's hunt told a story worth remembering.